How to land a job in a low hiring job market. That is something that a lot of people are facing right now, and it's a tough situation for those who are trying to work their way through it. Joining us now is Brenda, President and CEO of Corporate Connections. Good morning. How are you?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
Good. I appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, as you look at the market and people who are trying to get out there and trying to find jobs, as many of us are, people coming out of school, people looking to switch careers. What are they finding? What is the atmosphere and feel out there?
Well, I'll give you a statistic that I recently read from Korn Ferry, who's one of the largest management consulting firms in the world, who oversees hiring for a lot of big companies. Would you believe that 11,000 people apply for jobs every minute on LinkedIn?
Wow.
I know. So there's your competition, right? You've got people who are working longer in their careers than used to, which is not opening the door for a lot of people who are coming out of college and looking for opportunities. But I think the biggest issue is that with such a competitive job market, people just sort of lean on things like LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter. They're just waiting for some job to pop up that they can apply for rather than making getting a job their job. You know?
That's really interesting because I remember when I first got out of school and I was going into TV news. And I did what a lot of people probably did. I sent out a bunch of resumes, and I think I got 200 no's. It was like just no after no after no after no. And I had to deal with my parents that I was going to go to law school if I didn't find a job immediately following the summer of my graduation. So as it closed in and I did not want to go to law school, I made my resume tapes, video resume tapes for TV, and I got my written resumes, and I put probably 20 of them in my car, and I literally drove from TV station to TV station in Michigan. And I started in Detroit. They're like, "You're not ready." So I drove to Flint, and they're like, "You're not ready." And I drove to Saginaw, and they're like, "You're not ready." I'm like, "Wow, I'm getting really far up north here." In Cadillac, they gave me kind of a shot, and I couldn't pass a typewriting test. I said, "All right, that's on me." I went back home, learned how to type, and then got back on the road. And when I got to Traverse City, I ended up getting a job there. But I knew I was not going to get a job by sending out resumes.
Right.
It wasn't in the cards for me. And so I knew if I was going to get a job, I had to go get it. And
right.
I don't hear stories like that very often anymore.
It's really a lost art, isn't it? I mean, I too, like you, remember when I, would see something in a newspaper and I would take my resume and I would walk into that office and hand it to them and try to sell myself, into getting that job. And people just, have gotten kind of lazy about it. Like, it'll come to me, it'll pop up. I mean, you really, need to work for it. And one of the things I advise people to do is make a target list of companies that you would like to work for, whether it's because you are enamored by their products, their values, their mission statement. Make those lists and then get up every day and go to their website and see what jobs are open. Is there something there that you would like to do? And then apply directly to the website versus waiting for it to pop up on LinkedIn or another job board. It gives you a better chance of getting in there ahead of those 11,000 people who may have applied, a minute ago.
That is exactly what I tell my kids to do. I said, what is the next job that you want? And then go to LinkedIn and look at who has that job. And then on LinkedIn, it'll show you where they were before, previous work history. And it'll show you basically the steps that person at least took to get that job. And you can go look at other people in other companies with similar jobs or the same jobs, and you'll see a pattern of the things you need to do to get that job. And I'm like, what are you doing to get your resume to tell a story that's similar to the story of the people who already have their jobs? And I think a lot of people just come out of school and do what you're talking about. They go to LinkedIn or they go to Indeed and say, what's out there? I guess I'll apply. And they have this sort of auto apply now where you just hit a button, your resume flies out there. I'm like, well, what is that supposed? Does that actually do anything? But I do you think schools are doing enough to tell people what they need to do to get the job after they finish their education?
Well, I'm going to answer that in one quick second because I want to go back to something that you just said about people just kind of auto applying to things. I see, people apply to jobs I have posted all the time. And sometimes I'll think, did you even read the job description? Did you actually see if you were qualified for this job? That is so key in finding a job. Is in your process, you've got to make sure that your skills and qualifications match the job that you are applying to. Otherwise, you're going to get looked over. And I'm sure of those 11,000 people that are applying, a lot of them aren't doing that. So it's really, really important to understand, are you right for the job you're applying for? And is that something that schools are teaching? I would hope so, but I doubt it. Now, I am fortunate in that I am also an adjunct professor at a university here in Texas where I live, and I teach a course called Professional Development, and I talk with my students. My students are all master's degree students who are about to graduate and go into the real world and get their first job after getting their master's degree. And I'm telling you, I even have to teach them how to shake hands properly. It's just a different generation who's been behind a computer, playing games, not really talking to people, not really looking at people. I teach them about eye contact, shaking hands, what an elevator pitch is, how to, impress other people with more than just a piece of paper of their qualifications and what they've done to get that education.
Does it still help to find somebody that's in the company that you may know that you can call and say, can you put a good word in for me?
Absolutely. More and more companies today are offering bonuses to their employees for referring in candidates who get hired. So if today you don't know someone at the company you would like to work at that's on your dream list of companies to work for, connect with them on LinkedIn. And don't connect and just say, hey, can you help me get a job? Connect and build a rapport, build a level of trust so that when that ideal job does become available at that company, you now have a relationship with that person and you could say, would you be willing to refer me for this opportunity? I'm really interested in it. You've got to be able to be humble in your job search.
Brenda Seary, President and CEO of Corporate Connections, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Have a great day, Kevin.